HOTEP family, how y'all doing? So I decided to film this while I was at work. So you might hear a little noise in the background. So I'm gonna elevate my tone to kind of try to drown that out just a little bit. But thank you for liking the videos and viewing them. I appreciate everybody. But I need you to like or dislike, comment, share, subscribe. The HUSIA, episode 3, reflections and clarity. I'm going to be speaking from the teachings of PTAH-HOTEP, verse 11. So let's get it on. If you are wise and seek to make your house stable, love your wife fully and righteously. Give her food, clothes, and oil for her body. Make her happy as long as you live. For she is of great value to you, her husband. Be not brutal to her. Kindness and consideration will influence her better than force. Pay attention to what she wishes, aims at, and regards highly. Thus, she will remain with you. Open your arms to her, call her, and show her your love. Now, I want to preface before I read it the second time. Our ancestors taught wisdoms, and sometimes it looked like it was gender specific, but it's not. It was about complementary, and it was about duality. So understand that the term wife can always be exchanged for a husband. However, it's stated here, he or she, however. But our ancestors always thought about the whole entire person. Sometimes the wisdom will be expressed where it would come from a masculine tone or a feminine tone. So I'm going to read it again. If you are wise and seek to make your house stable, love your wife fully and righteously. Give her food, clothes, and oil for her body, and make her happy as long as you live. For she is of great value to you, her husband. Be not brutal to her. Kindness and consideration will influence her better than force. Pay attention to what she wishes, aims at, and regards highly. Thus, she will remain with you. Open your arms to her, call her, show her your love. Check this out. This is powerful. So we're going to be very meticulous. I'd like to give y'all just 10 minutes. I'm already at 2 minute 15-second mark. So I'm going to really be meticulous. So let's rock. It says, if you are wise and seek to make your house stable. We understand that wisdom is just not about the acquisition of knowledge, but also the acquisition of knowledge and experiences synthesized together to make a person, or help a person rather, ponder on selections on how they move. You understand? Because then when you are wise, you can kind of see it played out in many ways. So if you if you are wise, seek to make your house stable. And stable is in all areas. Our ancestors spoke in holistic tones, you understand? So when we making our house stable, or our home stable rather, we're talking about cosmetically, we're talking about economically, we're talking about politically, we're talking about spiritually, we're talking about socially, and of course we're talking about health, we're talking about actual food. So we got to make sure that all of these things are incorporated in our home to have it be stable, because we understand that an unstable home is nothing but a reflection of the community, which is a reflection of the nation. So we want to talk about sovereignty, and we want to talk about being, people of an African mindset. We understand that everything is connected. There is no such thing as that's over there and this is over here. They are connected. So we want to always keep a stable home. Love your wife fully and righteously. Love every aspect of your complement. It is important, reason being because every aspect of your compliment allows you to grow, and it allows that other person to grow, because a lot of times we want to meet on the false pretenses that we are similar. We don't want similarities. We want opposite, because the opposite allows the person to really fuse together and be holistic. It is important to always endeavor to be whole, a whole person. So if you are better financially and she's better with setting things in order, that's what you want. You don't want two ordered people necessarily to be together, because then one will always try to out-trump the other, and it'll become combative and challenging. Sometimes if that person is the leader of order, then you follow that path laid down, and if that person is wiser with the economics, you allow that person to run the economics. But you got to love the full part of it. And you got to be righteous. You got to know that ego does not, a runaway ego does not exist in a relationship. So you got to be righteous. You can't just say everything that your compliment wants to hear. You need to say things to your compliment that they may necessarily not agree with at that moment, but it's about elevating them to a higher place. That's what righteous behavior looks like. It says, give her food, clothes, and oil for her body. Make her happy as long as you live. So the simple part of that, right? When we're dealing with our compliment, we talking about food and we talking about clothes. That's pretty simple, I think. I think we understand why we need to have food and clothes. But that oil part is the one that sticks out to me, right? Hopefully it may have stuck out to you. Oil is simply the protection. That's how I seen that. Because if you don't want to have dry skin, you put oil on it, right? And this is the protecting of your skin. So I like to go a little deeper and see that our ancestors are talking about, when it says oil for her body, is also a place of making sure that the body is protected. And that can be encompassing in many ways. That can mean that you must be a man that will, put himself in harm's way. You'll be a wife that will make sure that harm does not come into, the direction of your husband, or you too may even step at the front line to make sure that things are protected. So I love that part about all for her body. And then it says what? Make her happy as long as you live. See, understanding that we must look at every day as an opportunity to make each other happy. Every day. And happy does not mean that it always translates into gifts. Happy could just be making sure that you give that person that compliment that they need, or you give that person that encouragement, or you aid and you assist. When you're making somebody happy, it allows them to be the best that they can be. And if they're the best that they can be, that is a reflection of the house, that stability that we talked about early in the beginning. For she is of great value to you, her husband. We got to understand we all have value in each other. And it's almost like, I like to use the term like stocks. We all have a vested interest in each other. And you got to know the value of what you've invested in. And so you got to always look at it as of great value. And you got to invest and always cultivate and watch and make sure everything is doing good so that your investment can turn over and do what it needs to do, because you always see it of great value and great importance. This is powerful. And we're gonna kind of tie it up a little bit. Be not brutal to her. Kindness and consideration will influence her better than force. A lot of times we think that we gotta yell and shout and be in a combative situation for the other person to hear us. Kindness and consideration will influence better than force. If you come home, I learned this a long time ago, and we was at a relationship forum, and it was expressed that if you come home and the dish is not clean, first thing you want to do is you want to argue, and you'll come up with these rationales to say, oh, you've been home all day. Why hasn't this been done? Why hasn't that been done? You come home and you might see your husband's shoes all in the middle of the living room, and you don't even know what's going on, but you become brutal and you become antagonistic, and you don't know what they've been dealing with all day. So be kind and considerate. And instead of using those brutal tactics that we have learned from oppression, let's look at each other and say, how can I help? And not even ask, just do sometimes. You don't even have to ask. If you pick up his boots and you put it over where his boots belong and you don't feel like you losing something by doing that. If you come in the house and you wash the dishes, you don't feel like you losing something by doing that. If you take turns washing the baby, you don't feel like you losing something by doing that. You say, well, the baby's in the house all day. Why you ain't wash the baby? You don't know what is going on. So you got to always be kind and considerate. Our ancestors taught us that 10,000 plus years ago. Pardon me. Pay attention to what she wishes, aims at, and regards highly. We don't pay attention to each other enough. If you know that somebody has a dream, then help foster that dream and pay attention to it in a subtle way. They don't have to go over the board, but you got to let them know that you're paying attention to what they aim at, what they hold in high value. So if they hold their car in high value, if they hold the house in high value, if they hold a picture or a keepsake in high value, show them that you care. Sometimes you can take a gift of your compliment and you can restore it. The restoration of it lets them know you've been paying attention to them. Thus, she will remain with you. Open your arms to her, call to her, and show her your love. We got to do that. We got to always take the time to reach out to each other, call each other, and show that we love them. Sometimes they ain't even got to be near. You can scream to the heavens, I love you, and send that vibration to that person. You just got to always endeavor daily to show that person that you love them and that you care about them, because it is important to the whole. These are the teachings of our ancestors. Marinate on them, reflect on them, move every day to endeavor daily to balance your scales. HOTEP.